The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Arizona.
Hot outside, certainly, but mild as the evening is upon us. We've opened up the roof here at Chase Field, downtown Phoenix, Arizona. The streaking Arizona Diamondbacks looking to keep the heat on those front-running San Francisco Giants tonight. They go toe-to-toe with the Washington Nationals. Now, of course, Arizona has been red hot, streaking, and, of course, coming up short last night, finally, at the hands of the Washington Nationals. But one half game back, the Diamondbacks on a big-time roll, and they look to keep it rolling tonight against the Nats. 16 of their last 20 they have won. Hello there, folks, and welcome back to the ballpark. This is Luis Gonzalez. My name is Darren Sutton. Gonzo, we're going to get to the pitching matchup right away because I need your help with something. When we take a look at both gentlemen on the mound, we will realize Josh Colmenter just getting to know things in the big leagues. Yuneski Maya, the same thing. Look at the total starts, 10 total starts. Of course, Colmenter's success, Maya still feeling his way through, the native of Cuba. So I ask you, when you played, and if you were to give advice to the hitters down below, you're facing a guy for the very first time, what do you do when you're only faced him that one time?
Well, these are fresh faces in the major leagues right now. What you have to do, you have to rely on your coaches and the scouting reports. You want to go up there early in the game and take pitches. Unless there's runners in scoring position, you want to see as many pitches as you can early in the game, because of that crucial part of the game, the middle part and the end part, if they're still in the ball game, you want to know what they have.
All right, that is his advice. We have some similar advice and a variation. Hitting coach Don Baylor, hitting coach Rick Eckstein. What do they say?
That's why I try to tell some of these guys, the guys that you never first face, they want to jump him early. But I want to see if his ball cuts, if it sinks. And it's tough to go up there, first time you never see anybody, and you swing at the first pitch and you roll over and ground over. You know, that's the worst thing that could happen.
You look at the way guys take swings off him to see, you know, how that he throws their timing off a little bit, so to speak. But it looks like he's done a nice job. You know, his changeup seems like to be a good pitch for him that he likes and trusts. And, you know, and then you go in, and after you run through the line the first time, you hear guys talk, you know, and you make your adjustments in game.
Now, Rick Eckstein's pride and joy is a big fella. I mean, a big drink of water, and Mike Morse driving the ball. He's about 6 feet 5 inches tall, but really steamrolling. Tall guys, for me, it's tough to get locked in, but he has been red hot.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, here's a guy they weren't even expecting to play this year, and he's out there just bombing away, and he's staying to the middle of the field, and I think that's important for a young player to stay to the middle of the field, and he's using a lot of power, and he plays, as you see there, great defense he played last night.
Adam LaRoche injured. The former Diamondback Morse has grabbed and put a chokehold around that job at first base. Luis and I, glad to have you with us. We trust you've got a great weekend planned. The Diamondbacks looking to grab hold of first place once again and do so tonight. When we come back, we'll talk about a very valuable closer. If you've watched it all this year, you certainly know the difference he has made. When we come back, Brad will take it further as he tackles that subject.
And welcome back to D-backs baseball. A Friday night in downtown Phoenix at Chase Field. Game 2 of this 4-game series between the Nationals and the Arizona Diamondbacks. You know, it was an amazing month of May for D-backs closer J.J. Putz. 13 innings, 11 saves, and absolutely 0 earned runs. As a result, he was the Major League Baseball Delivery Man of the Month. It's our Geico quote of the game. Kirk Gibson on his veteran closer.
He's been more than we probably could have imagined he'd be. You don't really know. You do your homework going into trying to acquire somebody, which we all did to people that we knew, and he was given high recommendation to us, and like even on my own behalf, people that I know very, very well that have played with him over the years, and I think KT did his homework, everywhere, that whatever resources he had, but it's early. He's had a good month, and we look forward to having many more good months.
Well, the D-backs are hoping to see J.J. tonight because that means the D-backs are looking to lock down another win. It's time to fire back into first place. First pitch between the D-backs and Nationals headed your way. It's Gonzo. It's Darren Sutton. D-backs baseball next.
Diamondbacks baseball is brought to you by Gila River Casinos. Play slots with your Players Club card at any Gila River casino. You could win up to $20,000 instantly. Jack in the Box. It's the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich, and it is good at participating restaurants. Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats. No blackout dates. Friday night at the Yard, and we're certainly glad you are with us, Gonzo and I, and we thank you for inviting us into your home this evening. Veteran skipper Jim Riggleman, he and his Washington Nationals wore their hitting boots last night, and they got ready to go. So, Josh Colementer has completed his warm-up tosses. Roger Bernardina has the assignment of making sure that his teammates can get a look at, for the first time seeing in person, Joshua Michael Colementer, the 25-year-old right-hander. And we are underway. He does just that, taking high and away. The numbers on Colementer this season, they've been dynamic. As a starter, a 1.61 ERA. As a reliever, a 1.29 earned run average. He's looked at two. They've both missed outside. 2-0 the count.
And you know, Darren, this is what these players are doing right now. He's got a very unorthodox delivery, over the top, kind of hides the ball. So these guys are taking a very close look. You look at their dugout, and they're all leaning over the rails trying to check him out.
He went after a fastball. They all are top stepping. Let's take a look at the starting lineup, and then a An interesting story about this lineup is brought to you by Pepsi Max. Ian Desmond, Lance Nix there. Michael Morse red hot, Danny Espinosa slugging it. Rick Ankiel had his thoughts on Cole Mentor after he watched the video. Future Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez, Jerry Hairston Jr., and Yuneski Maya is on the mound. Ian Desmond, the shortstop. And Jason Worth, of course, with the night off, hit by the pitch last night in the elbow. Precautionary, he is okay. Is available to pinch hit as that misses inside. 2-0 the count.
Well, that fares good for us because he's been known to have fantastic numbers against the Diamondbacks.
Boy, he played a fabulous ball game last night, specifically Gonzo, as that one is a low strike. Defensively, he played right field like it was his out there.
Well, he's one of those guys, when you find a comfortable ballpark to play in, you always seem to step up your game, just like Soriano does with the Cubs when he comes into town.
There's that changeup, 2-2 the count. He's gotten some awkward swings, almost like it's a knuckleball. Bernardina grounded out to start the inning. Strike 3, inside corner. Let's take a look at the last 2 pitches here.
Where you see him dialing it in right there, a little changeup on the outer half. And here's that last pitch, an 87-mile-an-hour fastball on the inner half. And you know, when a guy hides the ball like he does behind his head, that 87, it gets on you a lot quicker. It's almost like coming in 92, 93 miles an hour.
You and I have not done a game with Cole Mentor on the mound. I look forward to your perspective of his uniqueness, as that one is a strike right down the middle. These Washington Nationals, as were the Atlanta Braves when we saw them visiting, gathered around the computers watching video of his delivery. Nick's big swing, high drive. Got under it just a bit. Lance is hot lately. This time it's a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Mentor. Now we get to know Yuneski Maya. Look at the closer, at it again. Joe Saunders. Did he get him? J.J. Putz trying to get it to stick on Joe. Looks like he got him. Skipper Kirk Gibson. That's why you position players say relievers belong in the bullpen.
That's right. Get them out of there. It's always nice when you're winning.
Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Roberts, Johnson, and Upton. Stephen Drew, Chris Young, Miguel Montero, Nady, Gerardo Parra, Josh Cole Mentor. And his name is Yuneski Maya. He's a 29-year-old. He's Cuban-born. He defected in 2009 in September. He has only made one start in the big leagues this year. That's what happened against the San Diego Padres. There are scouting reports that players have. They've watched video. But, again, they're seeing him in person, so you expect guys to take a few pitches along the way.
Yeah, you really do. And his mentor on the Nationals, Hernandez.
Oh,
Livan
Lebo.
Hernandez.
Which is probably good and bad, because it's good, the things you can learn, but the bad is there's only one Lebo.
You're right, exactly.
Slow curveball, high fly ball into right center field. And that one is put away. Let's take a look defensively for the Nationals defensively. With an outfield of Bernardina, Ankiel, and Nix. An infield of the veteran Hairston, Desmond, Espinosa, and Morse. And then behind the plate, Pudge Rodriguez, the future Hall of Famer. And there is the big fellow Lance Nix out there. He's a veteran. He's been at it for a long time.
Yes, he has.
All right, so educate us on Maya here from what you know.
Well, Maya's a guy, he sinks the ball a lot, likes to get ahead early with his fastball. He's got a very slow curveball. But it looks like right now with Pudge, they just kind of attacking the zone, just going right after these guys. A lot of times early in the game, it's like a cat and mouse game, because they know that the guys haven't seen them before, and they're just going to attack them early. They don't want to show all their pitches to give it away to the other guys.
That changeup sails up and away. 1-2 the count. So he's got a good one behind the plate helping him out, then, is what you're telling me.
He's got a guy that's been around the block a little bit.
Number 1 in games caught all time, Pudge Rodriguez. Now that is a slow curveball, I'm guessing.
And that's a curveball that this guy likes to throw. He likes to throw it at that back leg to those left-handed hitters. That's a difficult pitch to hit for those lefties. We always want that ball out and away or down. But when you throw it at that back leg, which I mean his left leg, down and in, it's tough.
Set him up for that fastball, and that's about top end velocity-wise. That's strike 3. He got that curveball in his mind, didn't he?
He really did, because he threw a pretty good one and he fouled it off. And there you see him taking that fastball on the outer half. He knew it right when he took it.
Kelly, of course, is red hot. We will talk more about him upon his arrival next time. But this guy's hot, too. Justin Upton in the middle of a 5-game hitting streak. 11 hits during that time. A double, a triple, and 2 homers.
It's amazing how his batting average has jumped up in these last couple games. I think he was at a 230 clip, 240?
Yes. He was dipping. As a matter of fact, that 5-game streak, as that one is foul, is a far cry from the previous 9. He hit about $1 in the previous 9, about 130.
Well, this game, you could turn around in a hurry and make a lot of good things happen when you get hot.
You guys have to have a little talent to do that, though.
You
guys
do,
like you and him. And
well, you have to stay on an even keel. I mean, you can't get too high or too low, because you can go one way. There you go. See there, fisted ball right out in the left field.
Looked like a changeup up in the zone. 81 miles an hour.
And that same pitch right there a week ago, he might have flied out or hit a little weak line drive. But now, when you're feeling good up there, those fall in for base hit. Kept his hands in. Nice little looping ball out in the left field for a single.
So now Stephen Drew. For Justin Upton, that is a 6-game hitting streak. And in the last 6 games, he now has 12 hits.
You think he's starting to feel that all-star game coming up?
I think he may be. I think he may be. He's been around it a lot. He, along with you, a couple of the faces of the all-star game here. As he is driven back to the bag. I learned today that you know how to drive a light rail train.
I got a quick on-the-job training right there. I saw a lot of guys jumping off of it, too, right when I took the wheel.
Yeah, I never got on. I just stayed on the outside. And check this out, folks. I mean, Gonzo's driving. Look at him.
Not a good driver. I was looking back to check on my passengers, not looking straight.
Derek says, can I get out? Justin Upton making his way. Good stuff today. Gonzo, Justin Upton, and dignitaries.
That was a lot of fun.
So look for around town when you ride the light rail. So yes, Justin he can't help but feel the all-star game. Running him all over town. You too. Steven, 9 hits in his last 5 games. This one here. This is just, I mean, look at you.
Get out of the way. I don't know where I'm going, folks.
All that, too, and it was a 10-minute DVD you took home to learn how to drive.
That's it. That's it. You can learn by mail.
1-1 the count. Fouled off, up and into the seats, Stephen Drew. 1-2 the count. Again, this right-hander in his start against San Diego threw 90 pitches, about half of them fastballs. The pitch you saw second most in that outing, the slider. I'm guessing he throws that to righties more than lefties.
Yeah, let's see if he comes right here with that curveball down and in at that back foot.
Inside.
Doesn't want to show it right there.
And that was the one thing you were talking about Levo earlier. The one thing Pudge was telling me before the game was that Levo's been good for him, but when you try to be Levo and you're still 29 with a little bit more in your stuff, that's a mistake. And you can learn about being fearless, but his stuff is still different. Upton on the move, breaking ball gets by. It was a stolen base either way. He didn't have a shot. That one was stolen on the pitcher. 11 stolen bases.
Yeah, Justin picked a good pitch to go on right there. Breaking ball down, and there's that breaking ball. I was looking for a pitch earlier. Stephen Drew, nice take. Justin Upton with his 11th stolen base of the season. Take a base hit right here.
The 3-2. Breaking ball, ground ball, bobbled for a moment, scampering for the ball, got him. Mike Morse had it, he lost it again, and then finally fired to the pitcher covering. Eric Young doesn't like the call. Why don't you be the umpire at home as you watch this play develop? So you want to be a major league umpire. Real easy job. I mean, we've looked at 9 different angles here. Here is another angle. Looked like he got him.
First baseman number 38, Michael Morse.
When you slow it down 20, 30 times, Maya's in the dugout. You thought he might have tweaked something, didn't you, Gonzo?
Yeah, he looked like he was walking gingerly off the field, unless that's his demeanor when he walks off.
It's a nice play by the pitcher.
It really was.
Bailed his first baseman out. This man is the first baseman. We spoke of him coming on the air. Is that an inside? 1-0 the count to Mike Morse. They list him at 6'5", 220, but as I said last night, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, he's a big kid, man.
He's nowhere near 6'5", 220. High pop-up. Got him underneath it. 86. And Morse, who had a huge night last night, they find a way to quiet him at least the first time defensively for Arizona. Parrott, Young, Upton, Roberts, Drew, Johnson, Nady, Miguel Montero. And Juan Miranda takes this one in tonight. Nady gets the opportunity to play. Miranda out of there last night, banged up in that collision with Daniel Hudson a couple of days ago. And as that one misses outside of Danny Espinoza. Nady is the one now that gets 2-3 games in a row to find his swing.
It's a good opportunity for Xavier to try to and kind of rotating a little bit. Just try to find some consistency up at the plate.
And Nady's been hitting. Miranda before scuffling was hitting, as that's a changeup and it's a strike. 2-1 the count.
You know, I was down there early, and it's just fun to see. I like to take young kids down there to see big leaguers actually hitting off the tee, and that's what Xavier was doing early. I mean, a lot of times for a young kid, they don't want to do it. And then you walk down there and you see a veteran like Xavier just taking regular tosses, hitting off the batting tee, just trying to keep things simple.
3-1 the count. Hit on the line. Stephen Drew, that is a fabulous play by the Arizona shortstop. Played that one out in front of his face, and it knocked him down.
Fantastic play here by Drew. One hopper, stays with it, makes a little spin, and the throw perfect right to first base to Xavier Nady for the second out of the inning.
Rick Ankiel digs in. So I stood behind Rick Ankiel, let him know I was there while he watched Josh Colmenter video to prepare for this game. When he stepped up and walked away from the computer, the laptop computer, I said, Rick, what'd you see? And he said, the first thing I said was, what the? And then I'll just leave it right there. Never seen an arm angle like that. He said, I got to see a couple of pitches live. Well, he's looked at 3 now to get it started. He said, as a left-handed hitter, and you can relate to this, you usually are looking about out to the right. He said, you're looking off to, you know, a 3/4 arm angle as he swings through that one, and he's done. He said, I feel like I have to look up at the Empire State Building to pick up a baseball. What the? List, so glad to have you back at the ballpark. Don't forget, FoxSportsArizona.com has exclusive coverage of the Diamondbacks. Plus, college baseball is live all weekend as Tempe hosts the NCAA Regional. Tomorrow's games at 2 and at 7. Make FoxSportsArizona.com your home for complete coverage of all your Arizona teams. ASU playing also in the College World Series, just underway against Florida as well on the softball side, so we wish them well. As Chris Young leads it off. Young takes over the inside corner. You'll want to hang with us for the next inning or so. We like for you to hang with us all night. We're going to be previewing in a very casual manner the upcoming Major League Baseball amateur draft. I know you've been close to a lot of the decision makers. The Arizona Republic's fine writer Nick Pecoro, who has traveled the country to get to know about in person half dozen of these top guys, will give his insights on who these young men are. And for the Diamondbacks, why does it matter? Well, that's why it matters. They have the 3rd pick. They also have the 7th pick in the 1st round.
Yeah, it's been a very busy time for Kevin Towers, Jerry DiPoto. All those guys have been traveling abroad.
That ball might be traveling abroad. Deep left field. Chris Young, thank you very much. Just to remind a big leaguer that there may be someone else looking to take their job someday, and they step up their game right away. 1-0 Diamondbacks. $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. Looked like a changeup,
yeah,
didn't it?
An 81-mile-an-hour changeup. Kind of ran back over the middle of the plate, and Chris Young didn't miss it.
That is a Fulton Holmes homer. Miguel Montero to left. Sends Bernardino back, my goodness, to the wall. So for Young, home run number 10. Ties him with Kelly Johnson for 2nd on the team. And for Young, RBI number 32. And amongst the National Leaguers, he is one of the kings of extra base hits.
See, that's a time right there. Miggy just lined out to left field where he probably should have took a pitch right there just to see, because Chris Young just hit a home run. So there's a pretty good chance he's going to be a little more careful with Chris Young his next time around.
Nady takes a pitch away. He gets a look at him. This is a man that, with that homer, also to go with it, has 18 doubles and 2 triples. For a guy who hit a ton of doubles in your career, you're already turning early June and you're at 18. That's a pretty nice number.
Yeah, it's really, you know what? He's quietly having a decent year offensively. I know his batting average isn't where he wanted to be, hitting about, what, 238. But the power numbers are right there.
3-0 the count. Right down the middle. Chris, in his last 9 games, has 10 hits in 30 at-bats with 4 doubles and 6 RBIs. You see the numbers for Nady as he takes another one. 3-2 the count. Nady on the flip side, some pinch hitting assignments. His last 11 assignments, he's hitting over 300. 7 runs batted in as well. And Arizona doesn't win last Sunday without Xavier Nady and his clutch hitting late in the game against the Astros.
Well, if you want to compete, that's what you got to do. You got to have good guys coming off the bench and picking up big hits when you need them.
But it's nice to play from ahead a little bit, isn't it?
Oh, it is, especially this team. I mean, our guys have been battling. You definitely want to win the close games, but you don't want to be there all year playing those games. And when you're able to jump out on somebody and get a lead, your pitchers relax a little bit. They know how to get ahead and start throwing strikes, and your defense plays better.
There's the man muscling in there to left field, similar to Upton's hit. He was just strong enough to get it out there. Base hit for Nady.
Here's a pitch from Chris Young. Missing location. You see Pudge Rodriguez starting out over the plate, and the ball just kind of ran back in. Kept his hands in. Nice, easy swing.
Gerardo Parra now. So right there. Okay, that's fair. Sometimes we'll see those signs and they're like behind the third base dugout. You don't want guys to hit it there. He's down there past the foul pole in left field, so he's in the right spot.
Let's see if we can hit him a couple more out there tonight.
Gosh, Chris has almost got to that gentleman's sign. 1-0, Arizona leads it. Parra's starting to hit too, and that's good news. That's a fair ball. And that is a well-played double play. We'll talk Major League Baseball's amateur draft here in just a bit. Chris Young puts the Diamondbacks on top 1-0 here at Chase. A lot of people are getting excited because the Diamondbacks have 2 golden tickets coming up on Monday and Monday through early parts of next week. Nick Pecoro joining us in the broadcast booth, fine writer for the Arizona Republic, covering the Diamondbacks on a daily basis. But you have scoured the country covering a lot of these guys face-to-face. First off, on a personal note, has that been a rewarding experience for you?
It's been fun. It's been a nice change of pace, getting to know these guys. And the thing that struck me about all of them is just the high character that you're talking about with all these guys. I don't think it's a mistake that these are all, quality people, quality individuals, and that they're being considered at the top of the first round.
Gonzo, when you talk about guys in the draft, and you've already been in some of the early war rooms, we won't ask you to spill all the company's secrets, but when you talk about ability is important, but does character count?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, that's one of the first things. They're investing a lot of money on some of these young players. And nowadays, a lot of these players are getting rushed up to the big leagues a lot quicker because there's a lot of money going out there to these guys. So they want to be very careful. And that's why the D-backs have been working tirelessly trying to figure out who's going to be their number 3 and number 7 pick.
0-2 the count to Pudge Rodriguez. We kind of put our head and wrapped them around 5 guys, Nick, and so we'd like to get your opinion. And the first one is Danny Holtzen out of the University of Virginia, left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, really a very polished product. There's some people who have compared him to Cliff Lee, a guy who throws a ton of strikes. Having a great season for Virginia, has had really 3 great seasons for Virginia, and he's the guy the Diamondbacks drafted 3 years ago, couldn't get him signed. He was pretty set on going to school. And, they're looking at him again here as a strong possibility, I think, for that number 3 spot.
Will he be available number 3?
That's a good question. I think the Pirates are really looking hard at him. It wouldn't be a surprise if the Pirates pop him there.
Is that a name, Gonzo, that certainly you respect as you've had conversations?
Yeah, there's a good list of quality players right there. It's a chance, like a lot of teams, they look at college players or high school. You want to try to get polished high school players, but you definitely lean towards college guys because they have the advantage. They're a little bit more mature, and you think that they might have an opportunity to get in here quicker.
So, Nick, is it college, is it high school, or best available?
Well, I think for the 3 spot, it could be college, it could be high school. I think most likely it'll be one of the college arms. And you're right, those guys, especially Holtzen and Trevor Bauer from UCLA, are a couple guys you could be talking about. Maybe not starting the 2012 season in the rotation, but getting into the rotation, into the big league rotation pretty quickly.
All right, at UCLA, Kevin Towers has had his eye on this one too. His name is Trevor Bauer. He is a unique guy, isn't he? Absolutely.
You see a lot of Tim Lincecum. You can see it there in the delivery. He says he modeled it a little bit after Lincecum. He's about 6'1", 6'2". It's on the screen. Weighs about 175, 180 pounds. That is a bit of a concern there, for some scouts. People seem to like guys that are a little bit more physical, kind of able to handle that 200-inning workload year after year. You feel a little bit better about a guy if he's got that size, if he's 6'4" or something. But, Bauer hasn't had any trouble handling that workload at UCLA. He's been throwing a ton of pitches there. Some people think that that's a question mark. He's gone up to 130 pitches, it seems like, every time. I think he's thrown something like maybe 8 consecutive complete games. But, he's strong into the 9th inning every time. He's really a student of the game, a real mentally he studies this game and studies like pitching and is big into something called effective velocity. He wants to make sure guys don't get 100% on-time contact. He studies this stuff like he's got a baseball PhD.
That's Trevor Bauer. We've talked about Danny Holtzen and Trevor Bauer, and we'll try to forecast a little bit. Gonzo, what have you heard about Bauer?
Well, he's another guy. He's got a herky-jerky motion. I think a lot of people are concerned with that. But, he's earned the right to be up there. I mean,
That went into the corner. By the way, just to step aside and talk about a current Major Leaguer and a future Hall of Famer, that was an incredible at-bat right there. We talked about like 9 guys in the draft during that one at-bat.
That was 11 pitches in that at-bat right there. Another double for Pudge Rodriguez, moving up quickly on the doubles list.
Took that pitch away and just drove it the other way. All right. So, as Jerry Hairston digs in, Nick, Bubba Starling is the guy that some say may be a risky pick because he could play football at the University of Nebraska. Some say he's the best high school player available. Gardner Edgerton High School in Kansas. Is that right?
Right.
Tell us about Bubba Starling.
Well, Bubba's
what position does he play?
He's a center fielder. People think he's going to stick in center field. That's going to be his position. He could be a 5-tool guy. They say he can do it all. He's sort of a living legend out there already. You hear stories of people coming far and wide in the state of Kansas just to see him play, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. He can jump. He can dunk. He can throw 95 miles an hour. He can hit the ball 500 feet. It's kind of the total package, but. Like you said, there's the football scholarship kind of looming. He sounds like he's a little bit more serious about, considering that football scholarship than maybe some other guys in this draft. And, it might take a lot of money to buy him out of that.
Very interesting. High school guy with a high ceiling.
Yeah, I think he's using that as leverage, the football aspect of it, to try to get those teams to ante up. A lot of the stuff depends on who their agents are going to be, to see who these guys are, because when they have those big-time agents, a lot of times that dollar value, they try to drive it up.
Yeah, and Bubba's a Scott Boras guy.
Imagine that.
Yeah. I think it's going to take, the numbers people float out there, north of $6 million, some people putting it even higher than that. It would definitely be a risky pick for the Diamondbacks if they were to look at him at 7, but there's a decent chance that he's not going to be on the board anymore at 7 anyway.
By the way, visit azcentral.com. Nick Picoro has done in-depth on each one of these guys, spending time with them, their coaches, their families, and kind of traveling the country, doing a lot of our work for us here, and we appreciate him coming on. As that one is popped up to the right side. Baseball America, and I would love to get your thoughts on this. We have a couple of more players to talk about. We'll talk about the players, but first, this is kind of Baseball America's freshest look. Is there anything to any of that? We've talked about Holtzen. We've talked about Trevor Bauer. We've talked about Bubba Starling. Is there anything to what you see there? Arizona with Bundy and Sonny Gray at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I think those are guys that they like. I think Dylan Bundy is definitely in the mix for that number 3 spot. I think it's probably Holtzen, Bundy, Bauer are the names that they're looking at. It hasn't really been much of a secret out there in terms of which players the Diamondbacks are on. It wouldn't be a big surprise to anybody if they take any of those 3.
See, now this is what surprised me here. Like Rendon's number 2 on this list. He hasn't played defense all year. He's had like a little minor arm injury. He's been DHing. And that's surprising to see a guy that high. And that's why when you look at these names, anything could shake up in this draft because you never know what the other teams are thinking.
Yeah, Rendon's another Boras client too. I mean, he's a guy that's even if he doesn't get picked 1 or 2, he's probably going to want to get paid like he's the number 1 or number 2 guy. And you're right, the shoulder injury has kept him off the field for most of this spring. And his power numbers are way down. I think he has 20 fewer home runs this season than he did last year.
I excuse me, Darren.
Go.
I think the best thing that happened this year in college baseball is they changed the bats. Because now you don't see the inflated numbers that you used to see.
Expound, by the way.
All the home runs.
They changed them in what way?
Well, they don't have the
they're more the composite bats, right?
Yes, the composite bats. So now you don't see the guys hitting 500-foot homers. Now they're just barely getting out, and these balls that used to jump out of the park last year, now the power numbers are starting to come down, and guys are seeing. I saw a workout the other day with the Diamondbacks. These guys were hitting with wood bats. There's some big boys out there, and they're high school guys and stuff that they're still driving the ball out of the ballpark. But it's good to see some of these inflated numbers with the aluminum bats coming down.
Yeah, I think the bats are a big question as to how much that's affected Rendon. I think he hit 26 home runs last year. He has 6 right now. How much of it is the bats? How much of it is the shoulder? How much of it is just the pressure of coming into the year knowing that he was the surefire number 1 guy coming into the year. And, that's probably not easy. You're probably getting pitched around quite a bit. That's probably a factor as well.
0-2 the count. Nick Picoro joining us, helping us preview Monday's draft. And it starts Monday. It also helps you get a more realistic look at the pitchers as well when you have bats like that. And ball's not exploding. As that one is fouled off. Young man by the name of Francisco Lindor. He is out of Florida. He's a shortstop. Arizona just worked him out. What do we know about him?
Great glove guy. One of those guys that seems to make a terrific defensive play all the time. Switch hitter. seems to have a pretty good line drive swing, good baseball acumen. Everybody loves him. They say he's just kind of a natural leader. People gravitate to him. There are some questions. I think the one question about him is how much is he going to hit? Is his bat going to really play in the big leagues as an impact type of hitter, or is he more of a hit at the top of the order or maybe the bottom of the order, and his value entirely comes with the glove?
So sounds risky at 7.
At 7, maybe not. I
No?
mean,
Okay.
It's hard to find a really good shortstop these days, especially one that can play the position as well as he can.
Yeah, and he's 17 years old too, so you're going to have him for quite a while.
Sure. Well, and you don't know how much more he's going to fill out physically. He could get stronger, and the bat could play a little bit better down the line.
That one is over the inside corner. Tell us about Dylan Bundy. We don't have video of Dylan Bundy, but scouts use one word about him, and that's driven.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that people talk about the most with him is the work ethic. He's a 6-foot right-hander, but people are less concerned about that because of the stuff he flashes and how hard he works.
Hold that thought. You mind staying one more half inning?
Sure.
Is that all right, Gonzo? Gonzo has to approve you staying.
You're good.
1-0. Talking draft. Bundy, we'll show the graphic. Nick Pecora of the Arizona Republic has traveled the country and gotten to know a lot of these prospective first-round draft picks. And we go back to Baseball America. Now it's just a mock draft. There's a million different versions, but very respected as Baseball America. You were talking about Dylan Bundy. Bundy, a high school pitcher out of Oklahoma, Owasso High School. Sick numbers this year when you look at him. I mean, the story in your article about him in his weight room working out with the heat on so he could really wear himself out. Scouts use the word driven. Start over on Bundy. Tell our viewers about it. Yeah,
he's a real workout freak, and that's the thing I think that the scouts like the most about him is just how they know that this is what he wants. He wants to be a big league pitcher. He's worked his whole life to do it. And he works as hard as anybody you'll ever see. The stuff's not bad either. I mean, he's got a fastball that touches 100 miles an hour, sits in the upper 90s. The thing that's most impressive, I think, though, the thing that separates him, the thing that the reason you hear some scouts saying this is the best high school pitcher that they've ever seen is because he commands it so well. I think he had 70-something innings this year, walked 5 guys. That's pretty incredible.
Dylan Bundy and Gonzo, the polish, from what you've heard, he's that polished, huh?
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I think that he's definitely the guy. If there's any high school player out there, that he's the guy a lot of teams are targeting because of the way his work ethic and the way he approaches the game, and he's far and above some of these other high school players just by his demeanor and his mannerisms out there.
Yeah, it's like a lot of guys seem to clump him in with these college arms. He's so advanced for a high school pitcher. Yeah, they don't think he's going to take too long to get to the big leagues. I don't know that.
What does that mean? I mean, educate us.
You know, they talk about guys being quick to the big leagues, you know, out of high school, and he's one of them. The college pitchers, you know, generally are 3 years older. They have more of the workload. You know, they're more ready to step in and make an impact quickly. You know, Bundy, though, is that much more advanced with his, you know, the command of his pitches, and he has a good four-pitch mix. He's got a mid-90s fastball, a cutter that they say is a big league plus pitch, a pretty good curveball, pretty good changeup, or at least the signs of a good changeup, developing changeup. They don't think it's going to take him very long once he gets in the pro ball.
1-0 the count on Ryan Roberts. Talking Major League Baseball's amateur draft, the Diamondbacks pick 3rd and they pick 7th on Monday. And just kind of touching on some of the guys. One of the guys on the list, his name is Archie Bradley. Now, he is out of Broken Arrow High School. This is another might-be quarterback at Oklahoma. And I saw a lot of these kids at the Aflac game when I called it last year. But Bradley stands out because look at the kid. Now, is he a guy that, again, is viewed as risky? I mean, people talk about maybe Tyon, the big right-hander out of Texas. What do you know about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's more of the traditional high school pitcher in that it's going to take him a little bit longer to get there. You mentioned Tyon, who was the second pick in last year's draft with Pittsburgh, and people say that Bradley compares pretty favorably to him. That's sort of an interesting thing to say when you're talking about Bradley. The highest it sounds like he goes is 7 to the Diamondbacks, and last year he maybe goes 2. You know,
okay.
That's just a sign of how deep this draft is. I mean, they talk about there could be, I've heard people say there could be, 20 guys that would potentially be top 10 picks in other drafts that are in this draft.
Beautiful piece of hitting by Ryan Roberts. So then that begs the question, and I'd love for both of you guys to weigh in on this. There's Garrett Cole, the hard-throwing right-hander, throws, high 90s. People are suddenly talking about, as you see this beautiful approach, that Cole could drop. Is that possible? And why could he drop? What's going on with him?
Well, we mentioned those big numbers in college baseball, and it seems like everybody's got a 2 ERA in college baseball, and there's Garrett Cole. He had something a 3.5 ERA or so last I saw.
But doesn't he have the biggest arm?
He does, and that's the thing. I mean, you kind of wonder, why isn't he dominating more? Is it the command? Is it something else? And what's going to happen when he gets in the pro ball and is facing better hitters? But I don't know. I mean, the kind of cautionary tale I've heard against that was, Justin Verlander in his draft year in 2004.
Old Dominion.
Didn't pitch very well, apparently. The results weren't always there. He had kind of an up and down spring. That turned out to be a pretty good pick for the Tigers.
Well, I will tell you this. Our draft team has been working tirelessly, getting prepared and ready. So they are ready for this draft. I mean, they've been there countless hours at Talking Stick. So this group of scouts have traveled the country trying to find these picks. And we know as fans and our organization, we're ready for this. They've been working very hard for this. And it's going to be a lot of fun, very exciting for our fans to see what the future is for the Diamondbacks.
You were in New Jersey last year, in the room in the studio on MLB Network. What was that like?
It was exciting. It was an exciting time. And, obviously our draft pick didn't work out well. But with that not working out well, that also gave us this compensation pick coming up this year.
Good reminder to our fans. That's why Arizona has 2 picks.
Exactly. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Roland Heeman, you got your work cut out for you.
Nice. 1-2 the count. Well, in that room, the one thing you witnessed, Nick, you and I were talking with Gonzo about this at dinner. It's 1-2 the count on Kelly Johnson. Things change quickly, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean, really quickly.
There's no doubt. I mean, when you look at these draft boards, every team has a draft board, and they go. There's a number of guys in there, and there could be an argument in that room because 2 guys agree on one guy, and the other 3 say they should go with some other direction. So. Those things happen. That's why you have a little bit of time between picks to make those split decisions. And then you look back at the reports and see what pluses and minuses each player has, and you look at your strengths and weaknesses in your organization. You try to go from there.
1-2 the count on Kelly Johnson. Outside. All right. Who's going 3? Who's going 7? We didn't just bring you in here to tell biographical stuff.
It's all on you, Nick.
I'm guessing either Holtzen or Bauer 3. I
I know 7's tough, though.
7 is hard because you don't. I mean, it's probably the same 6 guys going in the top 6. I don't think they're going to get a chance at 2 of those 3 pitchers. I would imagine it's either Lindor, the shortstop, or Archie Bradley, the other pitcher out of Oklahoma.
Throw down, and he got him.
We didn't talk much about him. Archie Bradley is a 6'4" right-hander. He touched 100 miles an hour in his last start.
The
high school
the
season.
Oklahoma quarterback, Archie Bradley.
Right. And it sounds to me like he'll sign. The sense that I've gotten this whole process is that Starling is more of the real wild card in terms of whether he'll sign or not. But it seems like most people think he's going to sign as well. But I think Archie Bradley. It seems like baseball's his first love.
Okay.
I think he wants to get
So
started.
what you're saying is going to be a pretty good draft year this year.
Might be okay.
There's a lot of good players out there.
No, Nick, we want to know exactly who's getting taken. 3-2 the count. Visit AZ Central, by the way, and check out all of Nick's due diligence. All these guys we've talked about, he spent time with, and you can read the pieces on them. You get to know them a lot better. Cole, I know we had some video of. I want our fans, if we have that video nearby, just to see and just theorizing if he drops. If he does drop and this big arm is available, is there any chance he gets grabbed by the Diamondbacks? Because many people are thinking number 1 all the time.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get to them.
Okay.
But if he does, I don't think that they'll take him at 3. I think they like these other guys better. That's the sense I've always got.
Kirk Gibson over there to talk base running with Ryan Roberts. Have you enjoyed this experience? This is the first year you've done this, isn't it? I mean, going all over the country.
Yeah, and I've always been kind of a geek about this stuff anyway, following it pretty closely.
We never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
We know that. We love that. That's why people love reading it.
Yeah, it's been cool. I mean, it's neat. You get to talk to all these people, and they all have their guys that they believe in. And after everyone that I talk to, it's like, man, Diamondback should take that guy. And then you talk to somebody else about another player, and you write that story, and you're like, wow, man, they should take him.
Well, you know who I like? I'm a Bauer guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bauer fan, Gonzo.
You might be happy on Monday.
I like him, and I think Bundy. Big old corn-fed Oklahoma boy.
He looks like a linebacker. He has this huge, thick chest and big old legs.
See, that's the kind of visual right there. You can tell he's actually met the kid. The 1-1. Breaking ball, grounded, foul. So as we sit here and have this conversation and we look at different mock drafts, we're not sure. I mean, really, there's no lock number 1 pick. It's not Harper Strasburg, is it?
Right. It's different from the past couple of years. It's. I wouldn't be surprised by 3 or 4 guys in the top 2 spots.
And that's probably signability, right, with those guys?
Not necessarily. I mean, with Cole and Rendon, I think performance and and health are factors. But
like you talked about.
But definitely signability. I mean, those guys are both Boris guys as well. So I mean, you want to be sure when you're taking somebody number 1.
You're saying Boris pretty much has the lock of the first 7 or 8 picks, and he's going to play that to his advantage, knowing Boris.
It's nothing new.
He knows exactly what everybody's slotted in right there.
The 1-2 to Upton is right there. Nick, thank you very much for coming up, talking drafts with us.
Thing.
We got a moon pie for you for stopping by, by the way.
It's a parting gift.
Enjoy. Thanks, man. We really appreciate it. and check out azcentral.com, the Arizona Republic's website. Some in-depth information. Our AT trivia question. Name the 4 catchers with the most career Gold Glove awards. The 4 with the most career Gold Glove awards. We, of course, know that the gentleman participating in today's game on the Washington side is certainly on that list. There's a veteran, Henry Blanco, looking on. There was a time when he had a manager say that he should have won a Gold Glove when he played for, well, Mr. Davey Lopes. Maybe that'll give you a hint of who he played for. Didn't win it that year, but Blanco was lifted up to win it, and deservedly so. If this is a guy that played 140 games, he'd probably have 3 or 4 Gold Gloves. So back to the ball game. 1-1 the count. The Diamondbacks lead it 1-0. Cole Mentor again, very quietly as Pudge looks on. You got to think he is on that list. Cole Mentor's been pretty darn good.
Yeah, he really has. That's I believe it was a 2nd inning or 3rd inning when Pudge, he threw a lot of pitches to Pudge Rodriguez right there, but he was able to wiggle his way out of that inning.
It was an 11 pitch at bat. On across. Ian Desmond grounds out to Ryan Roberts. So let's take a look at the pitch count. That was an interesting shot a moment ago of Roberts on the bench while we were talking draft. Was thrown out on the base paths, and Kirk Gibson immediately went and found him. Not to chastise him, but to talk with him.
Yeah, and I think the thing that he was looking at, most running counts with Pudge Rodriguez, Pudge is a guy with pride, and you'll see more times than not on running counts, he calls for fastballs, and he sets up away because he likes to get that throwing lane to try to throw runners out.
0-1 the count, a fabulous changeup. It's not guesswork for that legendary catcher who is #1 in just about everything on baseball's all-time list. Big load on that one, and he drives right through the baseball. Lance Nix. Single into center field.
That ball just ran out over the outer half. Most lefties like that ball to get extension, and that's what Nix did right there and just stayed right up the middle with it.
Shoulder problems for Adam LaRoche opened up first base, and Mike Morse stepped into the opportunity, and he's acting like a man who's not about to let it go.
No, and that's exactly what you got to do when you're a young player and you get that veteran that goes down. You jump in there and you try not to give that position back.
The big fella takes a fastball that grabs the outside corner. Morse, since May the 1st, amongst all major league players, #1 in batting average, #1 in slugging, #2 in OPS, with only Bautista in Toronto better. That's how good he's been since May the 1st.
Well, he's definitely not a shortage of power with his size and stature up there at the plate.
Big swing down to a knee. Born in Fort Lauderdale and makes his home in Plantation, Florida. Was originally a White Sox 3rd-round pick and was originally a shortstop. Look at this guy. A shortstop out of Nova High School in Florida.
That's a big shortstop.
He had an intriguing encounter immediately after he was drafted out of high school when he was eating some breakfast with some buddies.
And he kind of has an unorthodox stance. I mean, you see him with his hands fully extended out there. He's got his hands out. Most hitters start with their hands closer to their body. He's already has his hands sticking out over the plate.
Almost looks like, follow me here if you don't mind, almost looks like a right-handed Kosuke Fukudome with those hands that far
Exactly.
out.
And that, you know, it's interesting to see how, if they throw him hard in, how he draws his hands in to get to that pitch. See, right, hands being out.
What has to happen? I mean, when you're that far out, they have to come back to you, right?
Yeah, they really have to come in to load up. I mean, most hitters, they have all kinds of, you know, Craig Counsell used to play here for the Diamondbacks, started with the bat up in the air high, but Most hitters get back in that hitting zone. They load up, they bring their hands back. Most hitters like to start a little bit closer to their body, their hands.
On 2-2. Change up. And those hands just couldn't stay back.
That's a nice pitch right there by Cole Mentor. A nice little change up. See him pulling off the ball right there and swing and a miss.
I mean, the difference in velocity in his fastball and his changeup, that's the story. You talk about how much he hides the ball coming over the top. Hitters like Espinosa, Ankiel having to look high up into the sky, for lack of better words, rather than kind of out at 3/4. But put us in that batter's box. Even if a guy, Gonzo, throws 87 miles an hour tops, if his changeup's 11 miles an hour slower, not comfortable for you.
No,
right?
It really isn't. I think, you know, and everybody thinks in baseball if you throw hard that you're going to be successful. That's not necessarily true, because if you throw a fastball, Robert's giving chase. If you throw a fastball 97, 98 miles an hour and it's straight, hitters can adjust to that. But if you mix speeds and change your fastball, like you said, 84, 85, 86 miles an hour, and then you throw your changeup 74, you're looking at a lot of different speed angles here, and it's harder to adjust for these guys, especially the way he hides the ball. It's harder to pick up, and by the time you pick that ball up, you have to have that split second to try to pick up velocity also.
1-1 the count. Cole Mentor facing Danny Espinosa out of Long Beach State, and Espinosa a rookie with 10 home runs this year. And that puts him tops in a lot of categories, including leading all rookies in RBIs, as Nix, the veteran, is driven back to the bag. But Espinosa, he showed it last night. He's got a little bit of that edge that we've seen from a guy who also played at Long Beach State, and Troy Tulowitzki.
You know, 10 homers in that ballpark for the Nationals.
That's right.
He must have some pretty good pop.
Time is called, and the young man steps out of the box. Jim Riggleman really had high praise for him yesterday, and of course he got Cliff Lee a couple of times. Roy Halladay, he got him as well, homered on the recent homestand. Cole Mentor, with regard to stolen bases against, just one attempt, and that attempt was gunned down. He's very deliberate. And if you help your catcher out, there's nothing wrong with that. Swing and a miss. Fastball right down the middle.
And 87 miles an hour, and it looks like the hitter's tardy on that pitch.
Last time out at Houston, he went 6 innings. Cole Mentor did, gave up 2 runs. No decision, but his team won it 4-2. They've won 3 of his 4 major league starts. 2-2 the count. Ever seen anybody like him before this?
Well, he reminds me of Chris Young, the pitcher.
Sure.
That used to be with the Padres, and I believe now what he's with,
the
Mets. He's had some arm problems as of late, but he's one of those guys that same delivery, throw 86, 87 miles an hour, and you feel good getting in the box against him, and at the end of the day, you were 0 for 3, 0 for 4, and you don't know how he did it. You just kind of go back and you wonder, you go, man, I didn't really feel like he blew the ball by me, but you just didn't get good swings off of him.
2-2 the count. Boy, they were all trying to figure him out before they had even seen him in person. Change up, high fly, right field. Justin Upton is there, and he puts it away. Cole Mentor, so far so good. Shutout baseball at the Nationals. Back of the ball yard, Arizona leading Washington 1-0 is the score. Our AT&T trivia question. You know Pudge is on that list. What a great question it is. Is Bob Boone on that list? He's in the house. Bob Boone's in the house. Well, that's good stuff. Don't know if he's still visible around these parts, but he was walking around. He is a member of the executive crew for the Washington Nationals. Pudge, Johnny Bench, Bob Boone, and Jim Sundberg. Jim Sundberg is not mentioned enough. 70s, 80s. Just to get on my quick soapbox, if you don't mind, for just 1 minute, Gonzo. As one of the great defensive catchers of all time. He caught 150 games a year in Arlington, Texas. Every single year, and did a whale of a job.
In the dead of the summer out there. Straight heat. I remember the name. It's a good catcher.
Thank you for allowing me to go down that road. Glad to see him on that list. I only know both of them because in my father's career, late in his career, he had the opportunity to pitch to both. Sundberg in Milwaukee and then Bob Boone in California, the then California Angels. Good pitch in on the hands. Buried it in there. Chris Young, our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play. I mean, and that's it in this game. Now Don Baylor, hitting coach for these Diamondbacks, will join us from down in the dugout. And we'll share that with you when we come back in the next inning. Try and do our best on focusing on what we have seen so far, what he has seen in Maya, and what adjustments they plan on making. Over the inside, 0-1 the count to Chris Young. Tight ball game like this, I may ask him to let us know what he saw in Drew Storen last night. On across. But what a great treat it must be to be a third baseman like Hairston and to unload the ball across the diamond at that target. I just thought that on that throw. I mean, that throw left his hand a little bit high, but then he looked over there and realized there was Mike Morse, standing 7 feet 3 inches tall.
Yeah, and I remember in your partner, I played with him here with the Diamondbacks and with the Cubs, and he had no ups at all, and he told guys, if you're going to miss low. This guy, he's a huge target over there at first base.
I mean, Hairston's about 5'8", 5'9", right?
Yeah.
And Morris is at least 7 feet 5. That one sails outside. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's actual size.
Oh, he'll be running in the Legends race later if you use that.
So juvenile. I apologize, folks. We love doing that. Thanks for playing along. All I'm saying is this. I've spoken with Mr. Morse twice in the last 2 days. Yes, that's a fair ball. The big fella couldn't get there. He didn't like the call, by the way. Miguel Montero, that one rolls into the corner. Morse seems surprised by that call. He has made a bunch of fine defensive. Couldn't get to that one. And for the Diamondbacks, good news, a double, Miguel Montero.
There you see Miggy, the ball inside. He draws his hands in. Right down the right field line. Hug the line just over the bag.
Looked like he got it right. He's right on top of it. He's got the best view, not the man running towards the ball, not the hitter either.
Yeah, and I got to give Morris credit. You know, he's a rookie out there. He's not going to argue too much. Most guys in the heat of the battle, they're over there arguing with the first base umpire.
Uh-oh. Someone just got crossed up. But Pudge doesn't look too pleased. Quick reminder, anytime the Diamondbacks score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell gives away 3 free tacos with a large drink purchase, 4 to 6 the following day. That pitch is outside. He talked about that play we saw a moment ago, and Gonzo, you explained it right on the money. But a ball can hit foul. You see it hit foul past that line. It's where it goes over the bag.
Just got to go over the bag.
That's what the umpire is looking at. Good looking changeup. 2-1 the count.
It really was 2-0 count. Nady was looking for that fastball, and just Maya pulled the trigger on him a little bit through the changeup. We need Nady to hit a ball out here in the outfield, make the outfielders move to their left or right, because we have Miggy at second base there. We want him to move around a little bit, try to get him to score.
A lot of room in the gap in left center if he pulls it. You see that as a hitter? I mean, obviously you can see it within reason, but does it cross your mind when you see big holes as a hitter? Does it cross into your approach?
Yeah, you know, I usually like when I get in the box, I look around. I used to like to look to see where they're playing, because that would almost tell you how they're going to pitch you. And Nady, they're shaded around to right center field right now, the center fielder, so more times than not, they're probably going to go away.
As you were saying, that's ball 4. So let's get our heads together. What are you going to ask Don Baylor about?
I have no idea right now, because basically there hasn't been a lot going on offensively. D-backs have 5 hits, one of them big home run.
I guess we got to get his fresh take on Maya. I mean, he's seen the video,
but he's seen in
never
Maya.
Seen him in person. So would you like that one? You want to ask about Maya?
Sure.
I'm going to ask him about Nady and his 2 at-bats. The single in the walk, kind of muscled a ball in the left and then had a patient walk. Thanks for letting us share with you folks. We're just kind of
talking out loud.
Here is Parra. Pickoff throw, and Montero is back.
Flash play right there. The catcher, Pudge Rodriguez, drops his mitt. Pitcher looking in at the catcher, and when he sees the mitt drop, he breaks to second base.
Oh, and 1 the count.
I always love when your catcher throws just as hard as the pitcher when he throws back to him.
That's been a trademark of his, hasn't it?
It really is, especially when he gets crossed up or he disagrees with the pitcher on certain pitches.
Then he throws harder than the pitcher back.
He'll let you know. He doesn't have to talk to you. He lets you know by throwing back.
Changeup dives down and away. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, 2,341 games, number 1 all time in his career. 42% of those that have tried to steal bases against him. He's caught 20,000 innings. That's number 1 all time. Number 1 for hits amongst the catcher. And number 2 on the list, by the way, for catchers that have played at least a majority of their career as a catcher is a guy for me who should be talked more about in the Hall of Fame. That's Ted Simmons, switch hitter. DH'd a lot in his career as well. He's had an incredible career.
He really has. And this guy used to throw to bases all the time when he was younger. First base, second base, third, it didn't matter. He was trying to pick you off anywhere you were at out there on the field.
Inside, 1-2 the count.
And they want to keep the ball out of the middle of the plate here with Parra, with the pitcher on deck with second and third. They know Parra's a very dangerous hitter, even though he's hitting 8th.
Beat him with a fastball in. Diamondbacks strand a pair. 1-0. 1-0. I asked Don Baylor, hitting coach Diamondback, specifically about Gerardo Parra's at bat. You have base runners on, you have the pitcher on deck, you have 2 outs. How much do you expand your zone? Here's what Don said.
When you have a Hall of Fame catcher back there, number one, he's really not going to just give in. So you're just going to have to expand your zone a little bit. The first pitch, I thought maybe he should have jumped on fastball, but he's been mixing it up. We haven't seen this guy before, so he's changing speeds, going back and forth. But his breaking ball is something that we're going to hit before this game is over.
Yeah, Don, as the game goes on later, do you have them? Do you talk to these guys, make certain adjustments, or they jump on them earlier here, or you want them still to take some pitches with nobody on?
Early at bats, they were kind of feeling them out. I think now, second time through, maybe a third time through coming up, guys have a better feel for them right now. So they come back to the bench and they're talking about what pitch they're going to get the next time, and they're going to hammer his breaking ball, I guarantee you.
Thank you, Groove. That's great stuff.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Boy, if that is an insider information right there.
I just like the confidence in his voice. We're going to hammer that breaking ball. And a good thing that he said, the guys are talking about the at-bats. So they're going in there. They're discussing what they've seen, what to expect later on in the game off of Maya.
Roberts puts that one away. So the right-hander, they're ready for that curveball. Well, that was great. We appreciate Don Baylor for taking a moment to do it. It's kind of down there in the high traffic area. The guys were going out there to play some defense. They were done with their hitting coach. They had to grab their gloves and leave. Great pitch to tie up Ankiel. Here is the aforementioned Pudge Rodriguez. In the visitors' clubhouse here at Chase Field, when Gonzo came back as something other than a Diamondback, he got to dress in these lockers as well. There are 2 massive condominiums for the veterans. 2 of the biggest lockers I've ever seen in the history of the game in that visitors' locker room. As that changeup is in there, and it's for the longest serving guys. Well, this trip in, it's Pudge Rodriguez and Livan Hernandez side by side. A lot of baseball being talked over there.
The 2 elder statesmen.
That pitch is high. I asked Livan how much longer he planned to play. And he said 5 more years. 5 more years. And so I turned to Pudge and I said, how much longer for you? And he said, what he said. I said, 5 more years, Pudge? Nope, I'm sticking with him. So we will see. I mean, this is a gentleman that right around Thanksgiving this year will turn 40 years old.
Well, it's amazing with Pudge is the wear and tear that these catchers have. I mean, just squatting down behind the plate 162 games a year. These guys, and he's going to catch 130, 140 a year, but it's amazing his durability, what he's been able to do in his career.
That one is popped up to the right side. And that one is put away. Hey, you folks have been asking. You can find out and learn how you can play. It's called Kachinko. It's brought to you by Gila River Casino. Find out and learn how you can play right here at Chase Field by going to the interactive kiosk near section 111 during regular season home games. 5 more years. Livan, it claims here that he's 36. Nope.
Not buying it.
Hairston takes a strike right down the middle. And he's one of my favorite guys I've ever covered, so I mean that with a lot of respect.
I think he was 36 when he played here, wasn't he? In our media guide.
0-1 the count.
Oh, I love Levo.
Levo would love that pitch. Just a big old-fashioned curveball. And for me, that's a tough curveball out of that arm angle to throw. He just shows it to the hitter. Got to show it occasionally.
And I think the fans who are going to tune in tomorrow night's game, if they haven't seen Livan Hernandez pitch, he's known for throwing that little eephus lollipop curveball that he has, and then he throws a harder one. He relies more on just changing speeds. He'll go within from 70 to 90. He's got those bullets every now and then that he'll run up there.
2-2 the count. And those that have seen him pitch, remember Game 3 of the division series against the Chicago Cubs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Cubs had the bases loaded every inning against Levant and didn't score anything. Cole Mentor, will he get called off? Let's see. He does. Speaking of pitching like a veteran is this young man. Great command, great stuff. Josh Cole Mentor.
Back here at Chase Field, bottom of the 5th, the Arizona Diamondbacks lead the Washington Nationals 1-0. Folks, Dee Baxter's birthday is this Sunday. To celebrate the first 5,000 kids to the game, will take home a Dee Baxter drawstring bag, courtesy of Chevrolet. For tickets, visit dbax.com/Baxter or call 602-462-4790.
Thank you, Gonzo. Looking forward to that birthday party. Our favorite mascot here at home. Josh Cole Mentor with the bat in his hand goes to work. So many youngsters. We're starting to see him more and more at the ballpark. School's out. Some kids are staying home, swimming all day, riding bikes with their buddies. Some are hitting the camps. Well, mom and dad continue to work hard, but we're certainly glad to have you youngsters here on a Friday night, and all you parents too, as that one is outside. Luis Gonzalez, Brad Steinke. My name is Darren Sutton. And thanks for inviting us into your home tonight. As we await these Diamondbacks, to quote their hitting coach and legendary baseball player Don Baylor, we wait for these Diamondbacks to hammer Maya's breaking ball. Not for the pitcher. We don't want to put that pressure on Josh Cole Mentor.
Well, he's put himself in a good situation right here. 3-1, a hitter's count. Let's see what type of hitter he is.
How about that?
We'll take it.
CenturyLink brings you our high-speed internet and high-speed pitch. For Maya, 89 miles an hour. For Cole Mentor, 88 miles an hour. It's kind of a fancy intro there. I like that. Roberts fly to center. Roberts single. The 29-year-old Cuban-born right-hander signed with Washington last July. Had an incredible winter ball as that one is driven into left center field and down. Rolling towards the gap. Matt Williams stops Cole Mentor at third. Roberts in with the double. And for Ryan Roberts, his second hit of the evening. With regard to doubles, that is 8 two-baggers this season.
Or a nice swing right here by Roberts. Ball over the middle half of the plate. Drives it into left center. And with nobody out and your pitcher running around from first base, Matt Williams holds him up for a second and third situation. See Cole Mentor coming around second, picking up Matt Williams.
Steve McCaddy, longtime Major League pitcher and now longtime Major League pitching coach, comes out. He was a crafty arm and a good teacher of the game. He is out to have a conversation. Pudge might be out there helping interpret a little bit with Yuniesky Maya. Maya this year pitched in Syracuse, AAA Syracuse, as Todd Coffey warms. He had a 3.79 ERA, did Maya, in 9 starts. And, of course, this is with regard to Major League service time in Maya. Major League start he has made to this point. He's never won a game. His team has never won a game. He's pitched very well tonight. His best start in his career was last year at New York, 5 innings, 2 runs. Eventually his squad lost 7-2, so this is some of the best work he's done.
Well, we'd like to keep him on that non-winning streak right here.
He's only gone 6 innings 1 time as a Major League starter. Kelly dives out over the plate at a changeup. Johnson, 4 of his last 6 with runners in scoring position. You see the season total, that's rising. That's a homer, that's a double, and that's 7 RBIs.
Infielders playing at half depth. That means if they get a hard hit smash to him, they're going to check the runner at third. If not, they're just going to go to first for the out.
Curveball, that's not one to hammer because it was well on the outside corner. Justin Upton waits on deck. This situation in his 6 Major League starts has been trouble. 425 with runners in scoring position. The average against the Maya. Takes that one the other way, but that's a solid protection job.
Oh, it really is. And I mean, Pudge set up right under his hands, and Maya threw it right where he asked for it. And right now, Kelly Johnson's in a defensive mode. He wants to try to put the ball in play and hope that he can loop something out in the outfield or try to drive it, try to get something up.
Love the shot of Pudge looking at hitters. I interrupted you. You were about to say.
He's good. He's staying right under his hands. He wants to try to tie him up and try to jam him right here. He definitely doesn't want to get Kelly to extend his hands and try to drive a ball. He wants it right back under his hands. He's staying right in there.
And to Maya's credit, he keeps hitting his spot. And it's close enough. You've been in that left-handed batter's box where you feel like you almost have to offer.
Yeah, you really do. Well, I mean, the advantage right now is to the pitcher because you have 2 strikes. If you miss in there or you hit him, he gets first base and you have a forced situation.
They went soft. That's strike 3. A slower than slow curveball that time.
And those pitches were set up right there. That curveball was set up by coming inside 2 or 3 times on that fastball. Folks, that's what we call a 12-to-6 curveball. It starts at the top of the clock and runs down to the 6. From the 12 o'clock down to the 6.
To me, what's always been so great about that pitch is that it's equal opportunity with regard to getting out lefties or righties.
And this is where Justin's become a better player right here. We're trying to get this easy RBI with 2nd and 3rd, less than 2 outs as of late.
Let's watch Pudge too, folks. Ian again. And they hit him.
See, that's okay. Maya's all right with that because that doesn't hurt them. That puts them in a forced situation.
Upton doesn't like the pain. He doesn't like the feeling, but there's no intent there. I wouldn't think anyway. You tell me if it's different.
No, and it doesn't hurt him to do that. If he was going to miss, he's going to miss in. He's not going to leave something out over the plate, especially looking at the distance that Justin Upton's been hitting home runs in.
So that is the end of the night for Maya. 1-0. Arizona is on top. We'll step aside, reset. Doug Slayton, former Diamondback, comes on out of the pen. We'll tell you more about him in a moment. Kirk Gibson with the conversation with Bruce Dreckman, home plate umpire. Curious what that could be about. Maya, the final pitch he threw in this ball game, hit that man in the left arm. He was frustrated because it hurt, but there was no intent. No one wants to get in hotter water. And Bruce Dreckman, conversation with Kirk Gibson. And they're speaking with Gary Darling, who's the crew chief. Now I have to ask you, as we introduce Doug Slayton, what's that all about? Any guess at all, Gonzo?
Well, I don't know. I think Justin thought there might have been some intent there, but I mean, that's part of the game. You got first base open. That guy hits some balls some long ways, so he just assumed either throw up and in or in on him, and if it hits him, it hits him. He wasn't going to, didn't matter to him.
Doug Slayton pitched some big games for the Diamondbacks the last time they played in the postseason. A 2.72 ERA. He deals with a bases loaded situation now. That great year in 07. This year he's got a 2.19 ERA.
Most lefties first pitch breaking ball 9 times out of 10.
There it is, as you said.
When you're that left-handed hitter, usually you get that breaking ball the first pitch.
Verizon Wireless call to the bullpen. You can see those solid numbers. Although, look at the first batters. That's a .450 on base percentage. Outside, 2-0 the count.
Slayton's trying to be a little too perfect right there. He's going to have to come right after Drew. He's got no wiggle room here with bases loaded.
He's got the bases loaded. That's nothing. He's inherited 27 runners this year. 12 have scored, so that's a high total. That is low. 3-0 the count from the one-time Diamondback Slayton. Lefty's hitting just 190 against them the last 2 years.
Look down the line. Matt Williams is giving him the green light. Told him, you get a good pitch, you can have it.
The base is full. The 3-0. Steven drives it. Right center field. Hankiel chasing. To the balcony he goes. It's off the wall. They are clearing those bases. 1, 2, 3. Matty stops Drew with the triple. A 3-run, 3-0 triple for the Diamondbacks. You called that one, Luis Gonzalez.
Stephen Drew gets a 3-0 fastball right down the middle of the plate. And when you're a hitter and you look down the third base line and your coaches give you that green light, that means they have confidence in the way you're swinging the bat. Stephen Drew did not let them down right there.
And they all came around to score. Riggleman out to the mound. In 2007, as you could see, the runs that crossed the plate for Maya. Teammates Drew got together with their old teammates and unloaded on him. more second they were sending him. Now these Diamondbacks starting to believe in themselves, and the fans following suit. Good house here tonight, use an old theater term, as Todd Coffey, that's not a theater term, comes on out of the bullpen, and he's done great work with a steady diet of those two things, a slider and then a sinker.
Yeah, and Chris Young pulled off of that pitch. He's got to try to stay to the middle of the field and pick up this easy RBI here with less than 2 outs.
Infield in for the Nationals at the cut of the grass. Drew, since 2008, only Jose Reyes has more triples than Stephen Drew, and that's only one more. Number 1 and 2 in the game. Swing and a miss, 0-2 the count. 4-0 the score. 3-0 swinging. Boy, that was exciting. Justin Upton off to the races. That arm feels just fine now, doesn't it? That man out on the base pads as well.
Chris got to realize here they've been throwing him 2 pitches away. May go back out there again.
He did. He did go back out there again, as you said.
That's just a bad at-bat right there. He didn't make any adjustments in that at-bat, and I'm sure Don Baylor let him know. If he would have went up there his first pitch and stayed to the middle of the field, that was the best pitch he had to hit, was the first pitch. It was up, a slider out over the outer half, and all he had to do was just tap it out into to the right side of the field or right center.
So Coffey comes through. They will intentionally walk Miguel Montero to face Nady. Now remember, and it was in a much taller situation, but the last time someone pitched around to get to Nady was in Houston on Sunday, and Nady cleaned the Astros clock with the decisive runs.
Well, in this situation right here, Miggy's a very good hitter against right-handed pitching, and not only that, but Coffey's slider is one of his better pitches. So Nady is probably going to come up to the plate and see a lot of breaking balls away.
A 3-0 attack by Stephen Drew empties the bases as Nady walks up. Some interesting numbers as ball 4 sails outside. You would ask for on 3-0 hitting. Stephen Drew swung 3-0. He tripled. The Diamondbacks this year are 5 for 6 on 3-0 with a double, a triple, and 2 homers. That was their 14th 3-0 swing this season. Third most in the National League. St. Louis more, Florida more. But they're 5 above the league average team. 5 for 6.
Well, that means they're getting, when they get the green light on 3-0, they're getting the right pitch to swing at. Being very selective.
A couple of weeks ago, we, as that one is down the middle to Nady, we're able to research back to when Kirk Gibson took over, and this club, since Kirk Gibson has taken over, swings 3-0 at a higher percentage more than any team in baseball.
Boy, Nady has a huge hole between first and second. Second baseman Espinosa's playing him right up the middle.
Well, it looked like he just took a shot over there, too.
Well, he's got this whole lane right here to try to shoot a ball in there. Now it's going to be a little bit tougher with 2 strikes. Now he's got to be on a defensive mode, just trying to put the ball in play. Coffey's going to pitch him out there. Stay over the outer half of the plate.
No balls and 2 strikes. It was a solid take by Nady. That was almost an exact replica of the pitch that Young had to deal with on 0-2.
And the difference here is a veteran catcher. When Pudge sets up away, he doesn't set up on the corners. It's almost like he's setting up off the plate. He's telling them, if you're going to miss out there, and he hopes that he gets the aggressiveness of the hitter to swing at it. He wants to come in now.
The 1-2. Didn't get the call. That's all right, he says.
And that's a good spot to miss right there. You see Nady looking out over the outer half of the plate. That's a show-me pitch, just to let the hitter know that he'll come in there once in a while, but he's probably going to go right back away again.
Coffey's been hot his last 19 appearances, an ERA of less than a half run. In there again. Well, they keep pitching him in. He has that hole away to use that you've pointed out.
The runner's going to be in motion here with a 3-2 count with 2 outs. Runner from first.
Morse playing behind him, but only a step or two. He's actually peeking in. Runner goes, waves and a slider away. Coffey cleans it up, but speaking of cleaning it up, Stephen Drew did as well. He had the bases loaded, a 3-0 count. Green light. Josh Colmenter tonight, exactly what we have seen outside of one start in the other 3. The command has been impeccable. Seeing a team for the first time, he has taken advantage, and he's changed speeds, Gonzo, like it's nobody's business.
He really has. He's been in command all night long.
You face Trevor Hoffman. Mike Krukow, a longtime announcer for the Giants, knows him very well as well. Popped in here when Colmenter made his big league debut against the San Francisco Giants out of the bullpen. You faced him a bunch of times, 31 times. This is not to, and it's not fair to do, but just the concept of fastball that's not overpowering and big time difference in changeup. Can you see it all? Why Krukow said that?
Well, I mean, as Trevor Hoffman got older in his career, you knew what he was going to throw. The difference is when you're an aggressive hitter and you like hitting off that number 1, which is the fastball, it's hard to stay back on that. Although you know, and you know every now and then Trevor will give you that fastball and you didn't want to miss it. Because that's that ball you can drive in the gap and drive out of there. More times than not, I wasn't getting pretty good swings off of Trevor, and I knew that. So I try to jump, and if I got that fastball, I try to jump on it.
Fastball, changeup. It's really all he needs. Hoffman had a breaking ball he threw occasionally too, like Colmenter does.
And it's all, Darren, like you've been there, it's all about location. If you can locate your pitches and hit your spots, you're going to be successful. Doesn't matter how hard you throw or how soft you throw. If you hit location, more times than not, the hitters get themselves out with their aggressiveness.
Veteran pinch hitter Alex Cora has played a lot of positions throughout his career, and this year important to these Nationals for that reason. He had a great month of May. Cora hit .340 in the month of May and saw some more playing time. On the line, easy chance. That fastball is an out.
Father's Day is right around the corner. Plan on spending the day with Dad at the ballpark. Sunday, June 19th is Father's Day, and the D-backs will take on the Chicago White Sox for a 1:10 p.m. afternoon game. Be one of the first 5,000 dads to the game, and you'll take home a D-backs barbecue set. Get tickets today at dbacks.com or call 602-462-4790.
And a happy Father's Day in advance to all you dads as that change up to Bernardina misses outside. So Cora is erased. Now Roger Bernardina, who has grounded out and popped up to short. Roger was 1 for 5 with a triple and an RBI last night. The changeup is high. You guys see Cole Mentor there slap that right leg with his hand. He was just telling himself, don't jump off that rubber too early. Stay back, stay on that rubber. As that one is outside, 3-0. Three and 1 the count.
Now he's really done a nice job trying to come back and get ahead of these hitters. This is the only guy that he's really fallen behind in a while.
And he just buried that fastball in on his knuckles. That's an easy chance for Kelly. Johnson fields and fires, and the 25-year-old right-hander, so far so good. Let's see where he located this, Gonzo and folks.
Right to the mitt. Right where Montero wants it, that's where he's hitting it. He's hitting his spots.
This is his 5th major league start. He's made 7 relief appearances as well. Changeup, fly. 0-1 the count.
And in between starts, Cole Mentor's done a good job as modeling as a garden gnome.
Bouncing ball, a base hit on a curveball. And Desmond was ready for it. That wasn't the changeup. I'm sorry. What was it you just said?
I said in between his starts, he's done a fantastic job of modeling as a garden gnome.
Garden gnome. Is that really?
Yes.
Is that kind of a Homer, Michigan thing, you think?
No, I think the team has been feeling really good about themselves, and he was going for an image change, and I think he's done a successful job of doing that.
Really? I wish we could see that. I'm sure we didn't capture that anywhere. That one is fired over. Well, I'm told here it is, Gonzo. JJ puts. Oh, I got you.
That's a good look for him right there.
Inside. 0-1 the count. Well, I guess if you have an ERA of 1.49 and you have no masks on your head or fungus in your shower shoes, and it's okay. Not saying he does. That's, of course, the old Bull Durham line. I want to insult Josh with fungus in the shower shoes. That one is low. 1-1 the count.
I tell you what, this team has really come together through this winning streak, and you've seen it, Darren. You've traveled with these guys, and they're really starting to have fun and gel together, and that's what you need. When you have a winning team, they get along on the field and off the field, and they're really starting to be practical jokers and kidding around with each other. Gibby really has that clubhouse on track. And you need leaders like Blanco right there, and Upton starting to become the leader that everybody's expecting. You got veterans all the way around. Roberts is doing a fantastic job.
He's kind of the straw that stirs the drink. Not always positive. He stirs things up a little bit. Keeps guys on edge a little bit. That one is hot shot, foul ball. And understand what I'm saying about Roberts there. I mean, he's a guy that'll get a little bit of an edge to him. He was barking the other day. Brett Myers. Clearly foul.
But when you got everybody pulling on the same direction, you pick each other up. You guys got looking out for each other.
One and two the count. That pitch is high. Nix does have 9 home runs, so be careful. And he has been rolling. That's why he's out there. In his last 20 games, he's homered 6 times. He's hitting almost 340. He's a guy that had to make this team out of spring training. He did not have a roster spot heading into camp. Fastball popped up. Roberts looking for real estate. And runs out of room. You might remember Lance Nix. He has been around for quite some time. Initially a Rangers 4th round pick in 2000. Was in Texas. Was in Milwaukee. He was a Red. Homered 15 times for the Reds 2 years ago. Change up, strike 3. They don't know what to do with him. If you're just joining us, Josh Colmenter, fabulous again tonight. The right-hander is woven himself a gem with 6 solid innings. There's been plenty of support. Chris Young with a home in left field. A couple innings later, bases loaded, 3-0 count. Stephen Drew off of his old teammate Doug Slayton with a triple that cleared him up. And that is our game summary. Glad to have you with us tonight. Washington makes a call to the bullpen, and Cole Kimball answers it. Recently making his Major League debut, Kimball, New Jersey native. Drew his big bat. It's been hotter lately. He's a big fella, takes the rock and goes to work. Good work so far. Opponent's hitting just .207 against him. A lot of base runners in 8 1/3. See if they can take advantage.
You see Parra 2 for 6 in the series, looking to try to scratch out a hit right here in the bottom half of the 6th.
Curveball is high.
Took a peek down at third. Harrison was playing him way back. Going to give him a freebie. He's going to try to take it.
So Parra is grounded out into a double play. He has also flied to left field. That one got there. He's a little bit late on it. Parra still 5 hits in his last 15 at bats as well, including tonight. We get a nice play over there, it looks like. Nice job. 2-1 the count. Well, that's a nasty breaking ball, diving down.
It really is. He tried to backdoor that one.
Ooh. That doesn't look any fun there for the hitter. He got dropped down an elevator shaft. Swing and a miss after the curveball. He blows him away. We have someone of your stature in the booth, so I think we'd love to have you comment in just a minute on a subject. As Parra. Is that strike 2 or
2? 3-2 count.
Must have missed a pitch then. Parra steps out. I'm sorry, Gerardo. I had you sent back to the dugout. Three-two. Boy, I don't want to take a strike away from the young man. He drives it to center field. He's on the move. Hustling on around. He's thinking about three. The relay, the slide. Out at third base. Parra is out at third base, and kudos to the Nationals defensively. They did everything right.
Yeah, they did a great job right there. Ankiel got the ball to the cutoff man quickly. You see him right here making the chase, can't come up with it. Fields it cleanly, bare hands it actually, comes up throwing. Nice relay throw right there, right on the money to get Parra at third.
Boy, was that beautiful. What an arm. First Ankiel, then Desmond. Ngannou, you ran after many a ball out there. That's a long, long ways out there in that gap.
Yeah, Desmond made a great throw right to third base. Just kind of short hopped Harrison at third, but he had it right on the bag.
8-6-5 double. Give Parra credit for the double. It's his 5th two-bagger of the year. That one is spoiled. Up and into the seats it goes. 1-2 the count on Colementor. Here's the big arm one more time.
And this is what you're taught to do. Hit your cutoff, man. Give it to the strong arm, and it's right there, right on the money to get Parra sliding at third.
Josh Colementor. Give it a ride, young man. There to make the play is Lance Nix. Goodness, that had that hitter sound to it.
Yeah, that was a nice swing right there by Colementor. And usually when you're in the outfield, you got the pitcher up, you tend to relax a little bit. Nix made a nice job, nice play right there, getting on his horse and making the play. It's a nice play by Nix. 2 outs in the inning.
Curveball is low to Ryan Roberts. Roberts has had a good night tonight. Doubled and scored, single. Dropped his back leg underneath that one. Morris heads over by his own dugout and makes a nice play. Hello, big fella. Someone grab him there. He might knock the dugout walls down if he tumbles down. Diamondbacks lead it 4-0. Earlier, when we have someone like you or Gracie in the booth, we respect your thoughts and comments as a longtime major leaguer. And an unfortunate incident involving the collision with Scott Cousins and Buster Posey, which cost Posey the season. Ryan Sabian said on his radio show, if I never hear from Cousins again or he ever plays another game in the big leagues, I think we'll all be happy. He went on to speak in this one, I paraphrase, about the Giants having a very, very long and strong memory with regard to Cousins. Certainly understand you're frustrated. Certainly when you lose a guy who's your franchise player and a reason you won the World Series last year. You have some franchise pitchers, there's no doubt. But I think he touched a nerve with a lot of people who A, cover the game, and B, play the game with a quote like that. 0-1 the count. I know he's going to meet or speak with Joe Torre. Scott Cousins responded through his representation, and he said the situation is still an open wound for many, including myself. By the way, he's a Bay Area resident. As I have stated previously, nobody outside of Buster feels worse about his injury than I do. There's so many off-ramps, Gonzo, you can get off on in this conversation, and I guess I'd just love to have your thoughts on the comments by Saban, the play itself, and all that went along with it.
Yeah, you know, I think Saban's comments were totally uncalled for right here. When he says all of us in the game, is he meaning the San Francisco Giant fans, Buster Posey fans? I mean, this is a situation that happens all the time. It's unfortunate. One of the young stars in the game got injured. Fly out right there to right field, Justin Upton, for the first out of the inning. But you just, you know, it's part of the game. You're the catcher. I played back when Mike Scioscia was a catcher, and he was known for blocking the plate all the time. I weighed 140 pounds coming into home plate. Scioscia was a 260, 250. He wasn't going to let up on me. He's wearing all that gear. He's going to try to bury the guy coming in. And that's part of the job description that you have when you're a catcher. I think he's just upset because this is his marquee player on the team. He's a marketable guy. He's the guy who goes out there and represents the organization. But it happens. It's part of the game.
And we will see the fallout from this, and if in fact there is any sort of a reprimand, a fine, or discipline. And surprisingly, I'm not talking about Scott Cousins.
No, and Cousins did what any normal player with any feelings in this game would do, which he made the calls out to try to apologize. His representative has already sent out a statement, and if I'm Cousins, I just let it go. You've already did what you had to do. You've done it like a man. You just let it go. Let it ride.
That pitch is inside. I know Kirk Gibson, as we bring Brad Steinke in. Glad to have Brad in that conversation with Kirk Gibson today. Kirk Gibson certainly had some thoughts on it, didn't he, Brad?
Yeah, he did, and I think it was more Kirk Gibson, the player, speaking when he said that's certainly part of the game, and he said a lot of times catchers can bait you. You don't know if they've got the ball, if they've caught the ball, so, his attitude was certainly go after it, but he certainly wasn't going to get involved in what Saban had to say. But it was interesting, he brought up Mike Scioscia, Luis, saying that he had a chance to play with him, and he said perhaps the best ever at blocking that plate, and he would just lay on you if need be. And another thing that I thought was interesting was earlier today before batting practice, they had Miguel Montero out there, and Glenn Sherlock was hitting grounders at him. They were basically practicing tag plays because that kind of a situation most likely is going to come up this season. They just want to make sure that they're refining the technique that Miguel has. And so, out of a situation like that, yeah, Glenn was out there doing some great stuff, and that's just part of what Gibby does. They see a situation, they work through it, they want these guys to improve and refine that. But I think Gibby's mentality was with Cousins. He'd go for that. It was a game-winning situation, and that was the kind of player he was, and I think that's the kind of manager he is as well.
Good stuff, Brad.
And that's not a dirty play. I mean, the score wasn't 11-0, and you're trying to score the 12th run of the game. This is a game-winning run right here. You're trying to win that game. He's not thinking about hurting a guy coming to the plate. He sees home plate. He's got the angle. He's trying to take it.
Rick Ankiel takes a pitch inside. Well, it certainly is a topic that has bounced around like a giant Super Bowl today in the baseball and sports world. It is as oft discussed, those comments by a guy who's not a player, but a member of the front office, and Mr. Saban. High fly, shallow center field. Now I have to finish my story from a lot earlier in the game on Rick Ankiel. You remember Ankiel didn't really know what to make of the video watching Cole Mentor, saying I've never really seen anyone like him. I have to pick one spot where the ball comes from. different than other players I've asked. Ankiel actually said, come back to me and talk to me after the game. I'll tell you what I think, or come back and talk to me tomorrow. So I will go talk to him and let him know, compared to what he saw on video, what it was like in real life. He asked me if I did that with Chipper Jones because we talked to him with Chipper. I didn't follow up after with Chipper.
Right, and I think he might have talked himself into an 0 for 3 right there.
Popped up a changeup. Pudge angry with himself. A changeup up. You know you're living right and pitching effectively when he does nothing with it.
After the game, Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink. Todd Walsh, Joe Borowski will be on hand to man the ship, if you will. Joe, you, like the rest of the National League, still trying to figure out Josh Colementor and the art of deception, aren't you?
He continues to go out there and throw out quality starts. I'm going to do my best to give you my thoughts on how a man who throws 86 to 88 miles an hour continues to beat major league hitters with his fastball.
I look forward to hearing how Luis Gonzalez reacts to that. See you guys after the game. More baseball. Let's go ahead.
Good stuff. Must-see TV as always with those two. We're glad to come on. We have fun with them. Favorite part of the night, you know what makes it even better when you watch the post-game show is they're all good, but it's even more fun. You hope they're talking about a victory. Kimball fires over the outside corner. 0-1 the count to Kelly Johnson. 7th inning stretch time here at the ballpark just wrapped up. You folks stand up and stretch out at home. Just about 9 o'clock in the great state of Arizona. Thanks for inviting us into your home tonight. As that one sails high. 2-1 the count.
Kelly wants to get in here on this hit parade. Put himself in a good situation right here now with a 3-1 count.
Those cuties enjoying the ball game. A little bit more on Kelly Johnson and who he is becoming again this season. Let's bring Brad back in. Brad?
Yeah, Darren, I think over the last little while we've seen Kelly turn the corner a little bit. Early on, you and I both would see him in the cage really struggling. You know, he was searching to find that swing again, but the other day I walked past and he was in the cage by himself. And, you know, he's found it, and so it's enjoyable to get back in the cage. You know what I mean? And Gonzo, I'm curious to get your take on that. When you're searching for something, any kind of a swing thought, you're hurting, you're struggling. But when you find it and you're back in that groove, you want to be in the cage. You want to get that satisfaction of doing something well again.
Yeah, it's just like a light switch. Something clicks on all of a sudden, and then you start feeling it. Justin Upton's a great example. About a week and a half ago, he couldn't hit anything, and then he just caught fire, and he's back on track. So this is a game when you go through a lot of ups and downs in this game. When you get that streak, you got to ride it out and take control of it and ride it as long as you can.
Great video there. Pudge none too pleased again. He got crossed up. Now there's no one on second, so there's only one sign. This is called a strike too, by the way. This can't be called a strike. Pudge comes out of his crouch. That looked like a strike to you, Gonzo?
Looked a little up, especially when the catcher jumps up. This is an interesting situation because Pudge likes to call fastballs with runners that can run on base. See what happens.
He did. And Upton's in the hole 0-2.
And that's always been the scouting report on Pudge Rodriguez in running counts. Usually you get a fastball away with Pudge behind the plate.
0-2 the count. You better be clear, Pudge. You already messed one up on you. The 0-2. Breaking ball popped up. Let's see if there's room. I can't let it go. I apologize. I'm curious. The old pitcher in me wonders how you get crossed up when there's only one sign. 0-2 the count. So Pudge is looking for that fastball. No.
I'm wondering how the umpire called that. He saw the catcher jump up. Well, I tell you, Kimball just got away with a hanging breaking ball right there, that last pitch on 0-2. There you see Bruce Dreckman, the home plate umpire.
Well, that's a God-gifted arm there, isn't it? I mean, an electric fastball. 0-2 the count.
Sorry, Darren. 94 miles an hour.
Big fella standing there. Nicked him. Nicked him with a curveball. Take your base, Justin Upton. You could hear it.
Well, I know the fans don't like it, and there's definitely, he's not going to try to hit him with a curveball with 1-2 count. He was just trying to come in on him.
Oh yeah, got him right there. You could hear it. Third time Upton has been hit in this series.
That's a curveball. I tell you what, if you throw 94 miles an hour and fans at home, he ain't trying to hit him.
No.
If you're going to hit somebody, you're going to hit him with a 94 mile an hour fastball. I know Justin's frustrated right now, but it's part of the game, son. You'll get used to it, especially when you're hitting 3 or 4 in the order and you're hitting the way you've been hitting as of late.
Said a man who knows all too well.
Now you just hope that your teammate behind you will pick him up.
He certainly did earlier, didn't he, folks? Remember that? It was a hit batter to load the bases, and Stephen Drew just pulled up a chair at the table and started eating. 3 steaks for Drew, 3 RBIs on a 3-0 count. Stephen's got 32 runs batted in. You had a feeling on 3-0 he was swinging, didn't you? One and one the count. Curveball from Kimball is high.
Well, I was just thinking Upton's been hit 3 times in this series. If they get a ground ball right here, there's a pretty good chance he's going after that second baseman or shortstop.
Now you're talking, Gonzo. The 2-1. Admit it, you folks all wanted a ground ball. 2-2 the count. Don't tell me at home you weren't looking for that. Guy that knows the game like this sitting to my right predicts that.
He's going to go in hard if he gets that chance.
Something tells me he used to do that with regularity.
And the guy next to him used to dodge him with regularity, too.
That pitch is high. 3-2 the count. 4-0 is the score.
Well, if you're going to get hit by pitches like Upton has the last couple days, the guy in the dugout, his hitting coach, is an expert at it.
That's strike 3. Stephen knew it. He just made a pitch on him, a fastball over the outside corner with Don Baylor looking on.
How many career hit by pitches did Don Baylor have? Had to be over 200 and something, I believe.
For the longest time, he held baseball's record. Well over 200, about 250. Young takes a pitch outside. Craig Biggio hit 285 times in his career. Number one. Don Baylor 267 times he was hit by pitches.
And I played with Biggio. Biggio would just dive over the plate and he wore that elbow pad. Don Baylor didn't play with any of that stuff. CY is going to see a steady diet of breaking balls after his last couple ABs. Not on that pitch. He got one the first pitch. He's going to see him again.
Trying to find somebody on the hit by pitch list who's in the top 25 who still plays. Alex Rodriguez, 18th, 154 times. Jason Giambi's on that list, 13th. Back to the screen it goes. Jason Kendall is injured, but he's still active. Jason Kendall is 5th in the history of the game.
How many does he have?
254. He's close to Baylor.
And he's a catcher. That guy sacrificed his body every day, just like Biggio did too.
Yeah.
But Biggio wore the arm guard. So you take half of those off for him.
Atta boy. Breaking ball. Good take. You were speaking of those breaking balls.
Well, he's going to get a steady diet of those with 2 strikes, especially down and away. He's been known to chase that pitch.
Two and two, the count. Popped it up. Infield fly. Young is out. 2 outs.
Follow the D-backs with MLB.com at bat 11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Give live audio pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Plus, when you check in at Chase Field with the at-bat from your smartphone, you will earn exclusive D-back rewards during every home game this season. Text at-bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details.
Four to nothing is the score. By the way, they're in the 6th inning in San Francisco. We'll update you in just a minute. Fouled off up and into the seats. It goes. Matt Cain is on the bump, and he and the Giants lead Colorado 3-1. And Cain has been tough tonight. 5 1/3, 4 hits allowed. He struck out 5, just the 1 run. Juan Nicasio on the mound for Colorado. Curveball never got there.
And Darren, I'm just excited that we're scoreboard watching already in early June.
It's fun, isn't it, to keep an eye on teams you're jockeying with?
Because it seemed like last year at this time we were already looking at what guys we were going to call up or bring up late in the year.
The nightly updates from Reno, you mean?
You got it.
1-1 the count. Fastball fouled off. Rockets down below. What's Gonzo talking about, folks? If you're just joining us, just coming in from work and settling down, the Diamondbacks watch San Francisco because they stand 1/2 game back. They can only take care of their own business anyway, but it's fun to see what's going on with the team you're chasing. Bronson Arroyo in Cincinnati beat LA 2-1. That's done.
Well, LA's piecing it together right now. They just got guys going down.
The 1-2. Curveball called strike 3. Depot doing more on defense. Stop by Home Depot. Stephen Drew with a rocket shot on a single hop. He races Danny Espinosa in the second inning. Home Depot doing more on defense. Josh Colmenter is done. Stephen Drew, I would imagine, enjoyed playing behind him. The right-hander with 7 innings, shutout baseball. He just wrapped up the finest outing of his major league career, his brief major league career. He had never pitched 7 innings. He had pitched twice shutout baseball, and he heads to the showers. Josh Colmenter does, as David Hernandez goes to work. Our Verizon wireless call to the bullpen. Not a lot to be concerned about, except for that first batter efficiency. Finding the strike zone early has been a bit of a bugaboo. Otherwise, it's been a great season. Finish the thought on Colmenter. His ERA this year so far, 1.25.
He has definitely been the magician this year for the D-backs.
Great word, the magician. That's exactly right. Jerry Hairston, third baseman tonight for Washington. And the third-generation major leaguer takes strike 1, 0-1 the count.
This guy hadn't been too bad either on the mound for us. He's kind of the unsung hero. Everybody's looking at JJ, the job he's done, but you don't get there without Hernandez out there.
Into the dirt it goes. For me, there have been 3 steadies in the bullpen as Matt Stairs, the veteran, successful pinch hitter, waits. There's been that man. There's been J.J. Putz, obviously, and Joe Patterson.
Yeah, there's no doubt Joe Patterson has definitely been very effective against left-handed hitters.
Those are the 3 big pieces. Now, others have stepped in and done very nice work, but they've been drafting off those 3. Those 3 have set the tone. All different experience levels, personalities, different backgrounds. That's what makes the bullpen great. Different throwing styles.
And the biggest surprise really has been Patterson, the way he's matured so fast. Because you're coming in there to face big left-handed hitters, Giambis and your Heltons, your Ethiers in the National League West, and
Exactly
that's not
right.
an easy task.
That's exactly right.
He's quickly put himself at the top of the list among elite left-handed relievers.
2-2 the count. That explosive fastball from the right arm of Hernandez sails high. 3 hits for the Nationals as they've stranded 4. 8 hits for the Diamondbacks. They've stranded 8. Arizona 1 of 9 with runners in scoring position tonight. Steven Vacuums that on up. Shoots it on across. What a beautiful night for baseball. Temperatures dipping down into the 70s for evening baseball. We love roof open. Beautiful shots taken from our pilot Scott Geyer up above as we peek in. We're glad to have you with us. Matt Stairs. Good man, good baseball man, Canadian born, and has been at it a long time.
He does not get cheated when he swings.
As you were saying. He fouls it off. Stairs, 43 years old. Born in St. John, New Brunswick in Canada. Picked up his 100th career pinch hit with a 9th inning single back on May the 4th. And is baseball's all-time leader in pinch hit home runs.
And a great guy.
Isn't he?
Always fun to be around, always having a good time. He's been a big mentor for a lot of the teams that he's played with, the younger players.
Stairs is yet to homer this year. When he does hit a homer for the Nationals, he will have homered for 12 different teams. I mean, you thought throughout your career you made a few stops.
Yeah, you play for 12 teams. You don't have to hang other players' jerseys in your house. You can hang all of your own different teams all the way around your game room there, or your man cave.
High fly, just beaten by it. Had that home run cut. Oh, I love the Fan Fest word of the game. It's so much fun. Log on to FoxSportsArizona.com now for a chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB's Fan Fest at the Phoenix Convention Center next month. Giving away 3 pairs of tickets every telecast this month. The word is diligence. Diligence. As in, we hope all of those that are doing homework, studying those potential draft picks, high school and college around the country, we pull for the most diligence possible. Homework and getting to meet the families. You know, finding out if the young player has a twin brother maybe. These are all things we need to know. Is he a good teammate? Hernandez. 1-2 the count. You know, the other thing you think about, totally different look than Josh Colmeter is Hernandez. Totally.
And there's not a lot of time to adapt and get used to this guy.
Oh boy, nasty curveball.
Because when you get used to seeing him, then you got the big man lingering in the bullpen to come in the 9th.
That pitch is low. Couple of college baseball updates in the regionals. The University of Arizona had a tough night. They lost to Seton Hall at College Station, Texas in the opener. They lost 4-0, so we wish them well as they bounce back. ASU, just up the road here in Tempe, hosted New Mexico. They were trailing 2-1 entering the ninth. A 3-run home run by Joey DeMichelle won it. They won it 4-2 on a walk-off 3-run homer. Unbelievable.
Had to be an exciting time there at Tempe.
I'm sure there was a lot of noise. That's a great venue to. I actually was fortunate enough to call a game over there this year. A lot of history in that yard.
Mill Avenue will be happening tonight now that the Sun Devils won. Got an equipment timeout here from Miguel.
Change things up. needs a new catcher's mitt. By the way, softball in the Women's College World Series, ASU and Florida tied at 5 in the 6th inning. Tied at 5 in the 6th inning.
I'm impressed, Darren. You're just the information society here for sports today.
Try to be. Oh, my goodness. I just couldn't get my information on Hernandez down there to Bernardino. Diamondbacks baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited rewards seats, no blackout dates. Fries, like us on Facebook during tonight's game. Receive a coupon for huge savings. Fries, fresh food, famous low prices. CenturyLink. Quest is becoming a CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com/link. Hi there, folks. Luis Gonzalez, Brad Steinke, Darren Sutton. Glad to have you back at the ballpark here at Chase Field, where Arizona leads it by a score of 4-0 over the visiting Washington Nationals. The Nationals victorious last night, game 1 of the series. Fastball sails outside with some heat on it. Henry Rodriguez goes to work.
Oh, he's got a fastball been clocked at 95 to 100 miles an hour.
Venezuelan. 99 miles an hour. My goodness. 17 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings.
Where they've been hiding this guy. 63. He's going to move down on that number chart fast, throwing 99 miles an hour.
Oh boy, breaking ball. Almost not fair.
Yeah, when you're gearing up for something 99, 95 miles an hour, and then you drop a curveball at 84, that's tough.
One and two, the count. Fastball, strike 3, 100 miles an hour. Nady having to deal with triple digits here after a breaking ball. And just tough to catch up with. Twelfth appearance of the year. You can see the strikeouts. I mean, he has given up 9 hits. You wonder how. Here's Gerardo Parra, fellow countryman. You just crank that bat up early, don't you? Knowing what's coming.
It looks like Parra's just kind of hoping he was going to throw it where he was swinging right there.
Sean Burroughs waits on deck.
That's a tough draw. You're sitting on deck. Oh, look at that one. .91-mile-an-hour changeup.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Swing and a miss. That is strike 3. Hey, don't forget, this week Fox Saturday Baseball returns. Troy Tulowitzki and the Rockies head to San Francisco to take on Cody Ross and the Giants in a showdown between West rivals. Well, that'll be fun to watch. This week's telecast on Fox Saturday Baseball begins at 1 Pacific. And you know, as Mark Grace is the color analyst on that game, that the issue and the comments by the general manager, Brian Saban, I would imagine Gracie's getting to the bottom of that right now, will have to be addressed as well. So a ball game and some outer lying issues to discuss as well. It should be a good show.
Darren, you ever throw a changeup 89 to 90 miles an hour?
No, I didn't throw a fastball 89 to 90 miles an hour.
I'm looking at his chart here. It says he throws a changeup 89 to 90. His curveball is 82 to 87, or slider, I'm sorry, 82 to 87.
He just threw his fastball 101 that time.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Burrow's been sitting on the bench there for 8 innings. And thanks a lot, Skip. You're going to run me out there on that guy. See if he can square one up.
99 over the outside corner. Sean almost primarily now full-time pinch hitter. I mean, he knows his role. He prepares for his role. He's thrilled to be back in the big leagues after an absence of almost 5 seasons. But these are tough assignments. He was ready for that breaking ball. Hit it hard, but right to Rick Ankiel. Sean now 4 of his last 9. Boy, that is some electric stuff. Joe Patterson goes to work. Four to nothing. They were watching video like this, our APS Energy All-Star, in the Washington clubhouse before the game. They were talking a lot about Josh Colmenter. Gonzo, I'm guessing they'll still be talking about Colmenter after the game, won't they?
Yeah, they sure will. They're going to be trying to figure this guy out, just as the rest of the league is right now. Everybody in the league wants to know who Josh Colmenter is, the gnome.
The gnome. You kind of slid that in there on me. I like that. 1-0 the count. Joe Patterson. He's my third. If you've watched this Diamondbacks bullpen, you've realized that this bullpen wouldn't be where it is without this young left-hander. Rule 5 pick, was a Giants minor leaguer last year. Comes in, Throws strikes, lets his defense do the work. And his defense just did the work. Another fine play by shortstop Stephen Drew. That's a couple of good ones tonight.
Right fielder Lance Nix.
Darren, I'd like to take a second here to send out our thoughts and prayers from the D-backs family out to the Watson family in Winslow, Arizona tonight.
Yeah, we've got some sad news, don't we?
Young little leaguer lost his life tonight playing in a game. Sad tragedy out in Winslow.
Yeah, thoughts are with the Walton family. And we will continue to reach out to them. Literally, we just had this news shared with us. And young man, part of our community, our great state, a young baseball fan and a young baseball player. So our thoughts and prayers with them. Thank you for sharing that, Conzo. Two and 1 the count. That one is outside. 3-1 the count. Broke his bat, popped it up. Kelly's there, and he stabs it and puts it away. No fun for left-handed hitters. Ask Lance Nix.
No, it definitely isn't, especially from the angle that he throws from. He drops down. Patterson's got that little drop down pitch. Makes it really tough on the lefties. It's tough to hang in there on guys like that.
That one is over the inside, trying to put this ball game to bed. Trying to complete a shutout. Over the top, 0-2. On this date last year, the Diamondbacks were 20-34, 12.5 games back in last place. The big fella faces the southpaw, and that just missed. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, I think Morse thought it was a strike too. He took a step towards the dugout.
One and two the count. These fans are having a ball. Good crowd again tonight, good energy. Just in case, looks like J.J. Putz is playing some light toss down there in the pen. Patterson looking to make sure that he doesn't get hot and come into this game. Breaking ball outside.
Tried to throw another backdoor breaking ball coming around the plate. Just missed. Miggy wants him to shake here just to give the hitter a different look.
Again, Josh Colmenter went 7 innings, gave up nothing. 3 hits, 5 strikeouts. His major league ERA is 1.25. Got him over the top of a breaking ball. And the Diamondbacks return to their winning ways. A team shutout. The 4th shutout thrown by this team this year. The 4th. Last year, they had 3 all season long, and that'll do it. Arizona 17-4 in their last 21 games, keeping pace, tying themselves up right now anyway with the San Francisco Giants. While San Francisco leads Colorado in the bottom of the 7th inning by a score of 3-1. We got to start talking about this on the post-game show, I'm thinking. Some interviews from down on the field, some highlights of this baseball game. Gonzo, I know he has some things to weigh in on. I think Todd is ready to go. I think Joe is ready to go. Another Diamondbacks victory. Tonight, a shutout victory. A great Friday night at the ballpark. A lot more to talk about. Post-game show right after the break.